There was a news report on television about olive oil. It said that the United States was a vast dumping ground for lousy, phony oil. This inferior grade of oil was nevertheless sold mainly as extra virgin olive oil. It was also frequently labeled made in Italy. Some meager percentage of it did come from olives grown in Italy, but most of it came from olives grown in Spain, Greece, Tunisia, and other countries. This would be shipped in bulk to Italy, where it would be bottled and labeled made in Italy. Very little of the extra virgin olive oil sold in America is extra virgin olive oil, the news report said. Inferior grades of oil, some so poor that they were not fit for human consumption but were supposed to be used as fuel, as lamp oil. These were sent to a refinery where the bad taste could be removed, rendering it innocuous. A few drops of chlorophyll were added to each bottle for color, and also a little bit of real extra virgin olive oil, and then it would be sold as extra virgin olive oil made in Italy. Other misleading labels claimed that the oil had come from a first pressing or a cold pressing, which is ridiculous because very little oil is pressed today. The olives are crushed and put into giant centrifuges, and that is the way the oil is separated. So all of this boasting about pressing on the labels is not just misleading, it's completely untrue. I found all of this to be disturbing, so I took the time to obtain a book from the library about the olive oil industry. It was very well written, but also very repetitive. I imagined it is difficult to write 300 pages about olive oil and have each page brim with fresh information. The book was even more disturbing than the television show. Fraud in the olive oil business is rampant because it's easy to do and there is a tremendous amount of money to be made. Furthermore, real extra virgin olive oil is not so easy to make. Freshness is paramount. Olives begin to deteriorate the moment they are picked. So too with the oil. Basically, this is another example of Gresham's law at work, in which bad oil is forcing the good oil off the market. People cheat, and we dummies in America, myself included, are not even aware of it. I have always been skeptical about the phrase extra virgin olive oil. It's a real splash of overkill. I mean, virgin is virgin. It's like the old joke about being a little bit pregnant. You can't be almost virgin. It's an absolute quality. In spite of that, the noble phrase was coined on November 13th, 1960, as a way of grading olive oil. It's further muddled when people talk about common extra virgin and premium extra virgin olive oil. Even more confusing is the actual taste of the oil. While there are many different kinds of olives and many different tasting olive oils, there is a common base of a taste, if you like, and it is the famous triad of fruity, peppery, and bitter. The result of this is that if you put a blind taste before most Americans, like me, they will prefer the fraudulent, denatured, phony oil to the real thing, which will make them cough and grimace and reject it emphatically as the adulterated oil. The outcome of all of this for me is this. There are two kinds of extra virgin olive oil. The kind I can afford, which is not really extra virgin olive oil and may not even be olive oil. It's very likely some cheaper oil from sunflower seeds or rapeseed, which may be with maybe a tiny fraction of real olive oil added. In any event, it's a complete fraud and a waste of money. And then there is the real thing from California or Italy or Spain or Greece or Australia, and it will cost at least $30 for a quart or a liter because it is difficult and expensive to produce. And that's more money than I can afford to spend on olive oil. And since I have learned that this is also the case for soy sauce and chickens and cheese and just about everything. So it looks rather sadly that as a result of what I've learned about olive oil, that I won't be buying or consuming any more olive oil. I'm not going to pay for a fake and I can't afford the real thing, if I were fortunate enough to find it. And that's too bad, because I used to enjoy it, or I thought I did, dipping some good breads into herbed olive oil, or enjoying some pasta with garlic, parmesan, and olive oil. Just another instance, I guess, of that old adage, ignorance is bliss. On the other side, they tell you knowledge is power, but in this case, I find it's merely depressing.